Pain is a strange teacher. It arrives uninvited, stays longer than we want, and speaks in a language we never asked to learn. But sometimes, pain hides a doorway, a passage that can take us somewhere we never imagined we could go. And this is the story of a man who discovered that door not by escaping his pain, but by walking straight through it. And honestly, I think many of us walk closer to that door than we realize. He wasn't special in the way people usually describe specialness. He didn't have wealth, talent, or extraordinary confidence, but he did have something else. Life had given him a weight he couldn't avoid, a heartbreak that tore him in half, a failure that embarrassed him, loss that left him with questions that had no answers. Do you know, the kind of pain that dosing tea just hurt for a moment till it changes the shape of your days? Okay, and if I'm honest with you, we all have our own version of this. I've had moments where I thought I'd reached the limit, quote, where I believed nothing good could grow from what I was feeling. I used to think pain was a wall at dead end, but with time and with my own struggles, I started to see something different. Pain wasn't a wall, it was a door. It's one that rarely opened easily. The man in our story didn't understand this at first. At first, he did what most of us do. He tried to outrun it, distract himself, numb himself, pretend he was fine. And that's something I think we all do. We scroll, we hide, we distract. But distraction is not a cure, it's just a pause. And when the pause ends, the pain is still there waiting. One day, he finally stopped running. Not because he suddenly became brave, but because he had no strength left to run. He sat with his pain, quiet for the first time, and in that silence, something changed. He began to notice things he'd ignored for years. Things like why he kept choosing the same unhealthy patterns, why he feared certain conversations, why small failures cut so deeply, why loneliness felt like a personal punishment instead of a human experience. And this part is important. The pain didn't go away. It didn't magically disappear, but it became clearer. It became something he could look at instead of something he had to hide from. I've had moments like that to where facing the truth hurt more than avoiding it, but avoiding it destroyed me slowly. And I learned something. Clarity hurts before it heals. One night, in the middle of this quiet confrontation, he dreamed of a door simple, wooden, unremarkable, but he felt deep down that whatever was behind it could change him. When he woke up, the dream wouldn't leave him. The image stayed in his mind like a whisper saying, there is something on the other side of this pain. And maybe you felt that too. The sense that the thing hurting you the most is trying to tell you something you've been refusing to hear. He decided to treat his pain not as an enemy, but as a map. This is where his transformation began. For example, his heartbreak taught him what kind of love he never wanted to repeat. His failures clarified what dreams actually mattered to him. His loneliness forced him to build a relationship with himself, not just with others. His anger wasn't just anger, it was grief disguised as protection. Here's one of the biggest lessons I personally believe in. Pain is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that something is awakening. So the man followed the map, step by step, day by day. He journaled his thoughts, not to be poetic, but to be honest. He took walks, not to exercise, but to breathe. He asked for help, not because he was weak, but because he was tired of pretending he wasn't. He learned to say no to things that drained him. He learned to choose what nurtured him toward his way of walking toward the door. Okay, and this is something I think more of us need to hear. Healing doesn't mean going back to who you were. Healing means becoming someone new because of what you lived through. The man realized that the pain he hated was shaping a stronger version of himself, a version he never would have met without the struggle. Finally, after months of inner work, he saw the door again, in a dream this time, but in his mind, whenever he reflected deeply, he decided to open it, and what he found wasn't magical. It wasn't a new world. It wasn't a miracle. It was a mirror. And behind that mirror was the truth he had been avoiding. The pain he felt was not life punishing him. It was life pushing him to grow, to change, to break old patterns, to face buried emotions, to rise into someone who didn't just survive the pain, but used it. And maybe this is something you need to hear too. Your pain is a doorway to a version of you who is stronger, wiser, and more alive than the person you were before. The man walked through the doorway inside his pain, and as he stepped through, he finally understood his purpose. He saw that the things that hurt him became the things that shaped him. Every tear became a lesson. Every setback became a foundation. Every loss became a teacher. In the end, the man didn't escape his pain. He transformed through it, and he learned something I want you to take with you today. When life hurts, listen. When you feel lost, slow down. When everything falls apart, understand that you are being rebuilt. When you feel pain, look for the door, because there's always a door, always. And if you're brave enough to walk through it, you might discover a version of yourself you never knew was possible. And maybe, just maybe, your pain is not the end of your story. Maybe it is the beginning of the chapter where you finally find the door that leads you home.